What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Bullpen. Today, we got another bowl talk for you guys. We just keep getting all these questions from you guys, so we're going to keep answering them, so keep them flowing in. My man Josh's here to fire it up. So
what's up?
Take it away, brother. Let's do this.
Dude, I get excited to do these every single time.
These are fun.
They're fun.
They're fun. I like these a lot.
Yeah. No, it's fun just to be able to sit and just chat and just.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I asked on Jared's Instagram story questions about health and fitness because within the Alphas Creed, Jared's three main focuses are mind, money, muscle. And so today we're going to be talking about the muscle part. Jared has a big background within fitness and I mean, just with football and all that. And so, I mean, you're a strong ass dude. So
I'm big.
Yeah, you're a big boy.
I'm big. Yeah, I need to lean my ass up. There's no question. But no, I'm big. Yeah.
I don't know, dude. You see some of those guys that are like 300 pounds and they're like that a real world tactical guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
And he can move.
Yeah.
He can move.
Well, that's my goal. Like, I want to stay big. I never want to be small.
No.
You know, I like being big and strong, but I want to be able to move.
Yep.
And I got big to a point where I couldn't move.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't training movement. And we'll talk about that, but man, oh man, it's not a way you want to live.
No. I mean, you see people like, these like strong men and stuff. Those guys are just, they're maybe not like super flexible and that kind of stuff, which I know for sure I'm trying to focus a lot on, like being flexible, but they're fucking strong.
Yeah, they're strong. And when they run, they waddle. You know?
Yeah, it's gotta be it's almost like CrossFit guys. Those are like a really good. They're big.
Yeah, it's hard to.
But they're functional.
It's hard to admit it, but to me, CrossFit is like the elite form of training.
Dude.
Like I really am starting to believe that.
Yeah.
Especially coming from an athletic background, looking at training. Actually, I'll say this: if you got a CrossFit coach or you're doing CrossFit and you're doing those fucking hang cleans and clean and jerks and shit like that, oh my gosh,
you gotta
dude.
be careful.
Holy shit! I know I'm gonna get blown up for that, but it is so dangerous. You have no fucking idea how bad clean and jerks are, and just the risk to reward ratio of those kind of movements. I'm sure we're gonna dive deep in all this stuff, but. Other than that, I love CrossFit.
Yeah.
That shit is dumb, but this stuff, awesome.
Yeah, you got to be super careful with those movements.
Yeah.
So, well, the first question that we got, I really like these ones. They were some good ones. So, why is being overweight selfish?
Dude, you know what? I'm glad you asked that. I was just thinking about this morning.
Really?
You know, like, because here's the thing. I'm not a father yet, right?
Yeah.
Even though I'm going to be a father one day, like we're going to start having kids and, we've just been waiting, but I feel passionately about my kids already. Like, I cannot wait to be a dad, right?
Sure.
And even now, like I got, I was working out heavy weight. I was moving heavy weight. I was working out hard and I was getting big, right? And I wasn't training movement at all. And I was not in shape, right? And yet, when I tried to run or even walk up the stairs, I just felt myself just a little bit more, just a, and it's like, man, I'm fucking walking upstairs, and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
What? Like, I don't even know. I don't understand this, and I dive deep in all that, but I was thinking about this. There comes a point where you need to understand just how selfish your mediocrity really is. And I think we're talking less than mediocrity if you're really obese. Number one, I'm going to say this right here, right now. Being obese, being being a big fat fucker where you're waddling around, right? If you're like that, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So this is the most loving thing I'll ever tell you. This is the most loving thing I could ever tell you right now. Stop it. Stop eating. The only reason you continue to eat that fucking food is out of pure selfishness and pure laziness. There's not a remote speck of discipline inside of you, right? When you're that big and you start getting big, you are going to die soon. Have you ever seen a 60-year-old over 400 pounds? No, they don't exist because they don't live that long.
No, they don't.
You are killing your organs. As a matter of fact, they estimate that you are dying a lot faster through obesity than you are through smoking cigarettes.
Really?
And we are so anti-cigarettes, so anti what's in all that, right? And I'm anti-cigarettes. Cigarettes are fucking poison.
Yeah.
And you're more likely to die from obesity than cigarettes.
That's wild.
So where are the billboard campaigns against obesity? I know Jordan Peterson just got blown up for it all over Twitter, where he posted that thing about the overweight model where they said, this is beauty. And he said, sorry, not beautiful. You know what? He's right.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
She's dying.
Yeah.
She's way overweight. She's dying. And I don't care how much fluff you try to put on your statement of, oh, I love who I am. I accept who I am. Stop accepting who you are. Since when is accepting who you are a good thing? Let me tell you right now, if you really knew who you are, you would never say those words in any form of acceptance. If you really understood who you are, you will never stop working to become that person. Accepting who you are is the ultimate form of quitting on life. And this whole phrase of, well, this is who I am. You have to accept me for who I am. The fuck I do. Do you believe in change? Do you believe in humanity? How about if you're religious, do you believe in repentance? What's the point of Jesus dying on the cross if we don't believe in change? Right? And I'm a Christian. If you're not a Christian, how about just let me ask you, do you believe human beings can change? And it's shocking to see how many people disagree with that statement. Like, no, people don't change.
And should change.
Yeah. And you shouldn't push them to change either. And I'm like, and here's the thing. I was the fat bull growing up. Dude, I was the fucking fat bull, right? Yeah. You know, I was getting tater tots shoved in my mouth. I was getting chocolate milk poured down my throat. Being fat sucks, right? And I'm like, if people look at me right now, I'm a big dude. I'm a strong dude. I'm still not even like perfectly lean, right? But I feel great. I'm running my ass off. I'm lifting heavy weights. I'm feeling good, and I know I'm going to feel better. And I'm learning all these things about cutting things out of my diet. It's like cutting out the bullshit processed foods and finally just I've gone carnivore and I love it.
That's sick, dude.
Oh, I love it. I feel amazing, and it's been such a revelation for me this last year, just discovering what actually works in my body, right? But coming back to like at least like just how much happier I am. I don't think people really understand the power that's inside them and what your body means to your soul.
Yeah.
Your body is a reflection of your character. Let me say that again. Your body is a reflection of your character, not, of who you are. No. As a matter of fact, actually, I know who you are. If you come in for an interview, now laws dictate that I can't, I can't discriminate based on weight and all that. So I'm all right, fine if that's where we're at. But I know one thing. If I hire somebody and they're big, fat, right, and they can barely move, I know I should expect laziness out of them. Because if they cut corners in one thing, they're going to cut corners in another. If they make excuses in one thing, why are they not going to make excuses in another? Especially when it's so drastic that you can't even lay down right. You can't even bend over to tie your shoes without this sitting back up then and panting. Literally, I know. If you're listening to this, you feel that way. If you're bending over to tie your shoes, and it's hard for you to breathe, you don't see how you're dying?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea the pressure that you're putting your knees, your joints, the amount of pressure you're putting on your organs? People see the outside fat. Do you understand that the fat underneath is way worse? It is literally in between all of your, if you just looked at what it looks like, in between your lungs and your intestines and squeezing it. And we're somehow trying to accept this. Yeah. We're somehow trying to say that that's okay. If we really loved our fellow man, and if we really cared, it's the truth that'll set people free. And no one who's in an overweight situation where they're obese can ever look at themselves and say, I'm okay here. With pure intention of heart, with truth. You're a liar if you think that.
Oh, for sure. And
you're being lied to if you're being told that, right? So why is the most selfish thing you'll ever do? Because number one, you're pretty much a menace to society. I'm actually going to say that. If you're extremely overweight, not only, let me tell you why it's selfish. You are a menace to society. You provide no physical value to anyone around you. You are of no use. As a matter of fact, you are the one who we have to cater to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I watched this video of this lady, posting about how airplanes are fat phobic because I don't have bigger seats. Listen, I'm a big dude. I hate how small the chairs are, but I get it. They're maximizing profit. You got to lean your ass up.
Yeah.
And if you can't put down that fucking shelf and it's hitting your belly, I don't know what to tell you, because it's working for most of the population. Actually, at this point, half the population is fat. So I'm probably speaking to half the population here, right? But think about this, right? when I was getting bullied, my whole message to people is I wish there would have been someone there for me, and I refuse to be a person who won't be ready when the time comes to be there for others. I refuse. Mind, money, muscle. So we're talking about the muscle part, right?
Yep.
If someone were in need, let me actually paint you a really dark picture, right? If you have a child and some fucker, which is happening all around the world, you can go watch videos, comes and snatches your daughter right there on your front porch. You could be maybe 10 yards away, super close, and they drive up to it and snatch your daughter and run and try to get her back in the car, right? I want you to paint, and anyone who listens who goes, oh, that's a little extreme, go watch the videos all around the world of people snatching kids out of the middle of the street.
Oh, yeah.
It is happening more than you realize, and it's going to continue to happen unless you heed my words right now. It's happening because no one does anything about it. If you are in a situation, if you ever caught yourself in a situation like that and you had to run, maybe you want to run after the car, get a driver's plate, or run after the person who, and maybe they didn't even kidnap her. Maybe someone comes and slaps your daughter across the head, and you run. Like I'm just trying to paint this picture of you are now unprepared to be her father and protect her, and it's not. And you could say, oh, it's not my fault, I couldn't catch up. Yes, it is your fault because of the years of decisions you've made to put yourself in that point where you were selfish, where that Twinkie meant more to you than your daughter's safety. And I'm especially talking to men right now. Women, you as well. If you are looking at yourself in an extreme overweight situation, you are dying and you are killing yourself and you are unprepared for the most heinous situation to come. And it is your fault if it happens on your watch. That's the truth. I mean, what we keep talking about? What does it mean to be an alpha? Is that you recognize that the only way for evil to triumph in this world is for good men and women to do nothing. And if you can't do anything about it, if you're physically unable to do something about it, that's not an excuse, especially if that is your choice. It's your choice to be this big. By the way, it's your choice. I'm going to make that clear. I don't care if you're big boned, right? I don't care if you don't have a high metabolism. Eat less food.
And there's tons of things you can do. I have multiple friends that have gotten the bypass surgery, and they've lost hundreds and hundreds of pounds of weight, and they are now in the best shape of their lives. You can do it. You can do it. There's no excuses anymore.
Dude, especially with the technology we have now, especially with everything that's out there. I don't think people understand how little food a human being can actually survive on.
Oh yeah.
Like we don't have a shortage problem, a shortage of food problem. We have a surplus problem.
Yeah.
Right? And actually, I'm going to quote Alex Hormozi on this. This is one of the best things I ever heard. He was talking to a guy who's really big. And when you know Alex Hormozi, I love that dude. He's a genius, and you take one look at him, he looks like little, Hercules, right? He's a stud, right? Yeah. And this dude kept saying, like, dude, I just don't know. Every time I'm feeling hungry all day long. And Alex Hormozi started laughing. And he's like, you're not hungry, you're bored.
Oh.
And that hit me so hard. I'm like, nothing could be more true.
Yeah.
Because we seek our biggest problem in all across the board is that we're so desperate to be entertained, to have something, keeping us. We're so attention deficit disorder, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Netflix or video games or food. You can't sit there in peace. Learning just how to sit for hours in peace is almost impossible. You just feel this thing pulling in your brain, like, oh, I got to eat food. Oh, let me eat some food, right? And it's especially because food's so readily available everywhere. It's this thing that nags in your mind. You're like, oh, well, maybe I'll just eat, because the action of eating food is actually something to do, just like a little fidget spinner. Oh, yeah. It's actually something that keeps your mind occupied.
Yeah.
Right? So he says, you're not hungry, you're bored. If you were really hungry, you would be like, man, oh, I'm hungry, I could eat an apple. When was the last time you were like so hungry that you just saw an apple, like, oh, I want to eat that? Or just a bare piece of chicken. Yeah. If you look at a bare piece of chicken and you go, like, you ever been on a diet, right? You go on these diets, and I know you just did this, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, I know you get sick of chicken, but sometimes you're fucking hungry.
Bro.
You're like, I can't wait to eat that chicken. And nothing's on it. You don't care. I just want food.
Oh, dude.
That's hunger.
Yeah.
You know what's hunger is you want to talk to Yoon-Mi Park. I've mentioned her many times in this podcast because she is such an inspiration to me. And her stories sit in my mind will sit with me for the rest of my life.
Oh, dude.
Because she talked about how they ate rats because they're so hungry.
Yeah.
And bugs. Ugh. And they boiled bark. So that means they were looking at anything they could to eat food, to find something that they could eat. And her dream was a bucket or a basket of bread. Wow. She says that's all she dreamed about. Most kids dream about going to Disneyland or all this stuff. Yeah. All she dreamed about at night was a bucket or basket of bread.
That's wild.
That's hunger. And we don't understand what hunger really is. So you're not hungry. Stop fucking eating. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't eat 3 meals a day. You know, you shouldn't, unless they're really small meals and you're over there in Europe with the really small rations. Don't eat 3 meals a day. Yeah. Our rations here in America are massive.
Oh,
massive.
Dude, when I went to Europe and I was like, I feel great.
Yeah.
Like these portions were so small. And then you're here like, this is so much food.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the thing. I'm eating and especially growing up as a kid, what did they teach you? What did your parents teach you? Eat all your food.
Yeah.
Eat all your food. I am not going to teach my kids eat all your food. And I understand the reasoning of why my parents taught me that. But at the end of the day, I recognize what it did inside of me. I literally almost start feeling anxiety if I see food left on the plate.
Yeah, same.
I feel wasteful. I feel like ungrateful.
Yeah.
Right? I feel, there's starving kids out there. I should enjoy that. I should eat that. No. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
And you know what? We have a surplus problem. Food is going to go to waste because we're producing so much food for so much of the world. We got to figure out a way to get it to other places because we have too much food at such a regular basis here. You don't have to go out and kill a cow and skin the cow and cut up the meat and then cook it. You don't have to go through any work except for just grabbing the bag of chips and opening it up and eating it, right? Yeah. So and back in the old days, they would go a day or two without eating.
Yeah.
And then they have a big feast of a meal. That's more normal to go almost the entire day except until dinner, to have a meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's more normal, what our bodies are more ready for, as opposed to eating all the time. And I'm going to say this again. When it comes to like bodybuilding and look at people who are in nutrition, bodybuilders are working out 3 to 4 hours a day. And they're having 6 meals a day and high calories because they're burning that many calories. Yeah. And also there is almost zero room for excess in there because it's almost all pure protein and just enough carbs to keep their body sustained. Yep. So it's such a science. So when we look at these bodybuilders or these power lifters eating that much food, that's what they do. And I came from an athletic background where I was working out 4 hours a day, especially playing football at BYU. I was working out 4 hours a day.
That's crazy.
Morning, night, running, doing sprints, lifting, and then I would do it again. I would then throw routes and I would do footwork. I was working out 4 hours a day.
That's wild, dude.
And I was eating whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was fine.
Yeah.
Because I was burning so many calories, and obviously I'm still in a growing state at that point. And then football's gone. And I'm eating the same, and I only go to the gym for an hour or two, and it ain't the same as when I used to. No. And all of a sudden I start to, I'm like, oh shit, right? So we don't we got to recognize the difference of what it means to be hungry as opposed to bored, and why we should stop eating so much fucking food.
Yeah.
There's no other point. There's no other reason to why you're so fat. It's just you eat too much fucking food.
Yep.
And by the way, if you're too skinny, you want to gain weight, just eat more food. Yeah. Oh, I eat a lot of food and you don't understand. No, eat more.
Yeah.
So that's the opposite side of it. If you really, if you struggle with putting on weight, go eat a lot of fucking food because your body's got some problem where it's burning too many calories. Yeah. But anyways, I digress.
We could even say the question was, why is being overweight, selfish? I think it goes on the other end of the spectrum as well. If you are skinny, if you don't work out, if you are weak, you are also selfish because on both ends you cannot help in any single way.
You're of no use.
You have no literally are just like you're a breath of air. Like that's all you are.
I mean, literally, Socrates said this. Socrates said, "No man has a right to never ever in his life." I'm probably mixing two different quotes because I believe they're two different ones. But he said, "No man has the right to not be in top physical performance for society." It's almost against, Socrates was saying, it's against everything we stand for. Because, again, you are of no use to society. And yes, being physically able is a key part of being useful to society.
Yeah. 100%.
So yes, you're exactly right. On the opposite spectrum, if you're skinny, can't do shit, you just sit. Dude, I see it over and over. All these videos, these kids who are just getting so much attention, where they're just sitting in their basement playing these video games. I know I sound like a dad, but who fucking cares? Stop playing your fucking video games. Yeah. What are you doing with your life? Oh, that's my legacy. Jeez. Yeah. You are doing nothing for this world.
I think what it comes back to is when you like you said earlier, when you understand your purpose and what you and when you understand who you are. Like, dude, my little brother, he's 16 right now, and he's been going to the gym and lifting for the last 6 months, and he has gotten huge. Yeah. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, and he's getting strong too. And I'm like, you are going to be a very, his idols are like Jocko and who's that other guy? Those guys. Yeah, and he wants to be like them. I'm like, perfect. Yeah. Perfect role models. Right. Like, you are going to be a physically able man that can actually benefit society.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that here's the thing. Yes, we're talking about being an alpha. Yeah. What a toxic thing to say. Who the fuck do you think you are? That's the most beta shit I've ever heard. Alphas don't need to call themselves alphas. Fuck you. Yeah. Because it's time you start calling yourself an alpha. It's time you start recognizing how important it is to be an alpha. And that does mean physically. Yep. That means physically, you should be dominant. Yep. You should seek after the greatest form of your body could ever have. What a gift you have to have a physically able body. Actually, I want to say this right now. My friend Nick Santanastasso is one of the greatest examples that, by definition, he wouldn't be considered a physically able person. Yeah. Yeah. And yet he is more physically able than a lot of people I know. He is more active and does more things. He lives life to the fullest, and doesn't let himself have any excuse. He literally was in a bodybuilding show. Yeah. He has one arm.
He has one arm.
And he's so incredible at what he does. He works his ass off. Yep. And if you see him, he's just ripped, dude. He is, dude. He works his ass off to look like that. Oh, yeah. And I love his story. I think the whole world should know his story, because you have no excuse. I don't care about any of these reasons you give me. They are null and void. Yep. Because you are, at the end of the day, a leech on society. We have to work extra hard to support your fat ass. Yeah. So, and I saw another guy post this thing where this lady was really big and she was just rolling over into his seat. So he had to sit like this the whole flight. Oh. And he literally posted after, he says, that's why it's selfish to be fat, because you are making me uncomfortable that I have to move in my seat. Like, that's a fair point.
Dude, and I'll be honest, like, I feel like that, God, this is pretty terrible, but with masks and all that on the planes, like trying to keep each other safe. I'm like, you are actually, as a overweight person in a plane, you are actually probably more of a risk to everybody else on that plane than a mask is, because how the fuck are you supposed to move quickly? Like, if that plane goes down, dude, how are you supposed to get out of your seat? Those people next to you, it's like, okay, if we go down,
you're a fire hazard.
You're gonna kill me, dude. Because you are so fat, you are going to kill me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, even just in any emergency situation, like, how they used to do those emergency situations, like bus escape. And you know what they taught you? It's like, okay, people help each other out. Dude, I don't care how strong people are. If you're like that, there's no question here. And a lot of you agree with this who are going to listen to this. Yeah. Even if you're in that situation, deep down it's true. Yeah. And some of you won't even, don't want to say this out loud because you're scared of offending people. Well, offend them. Because maybe it's the best thing that'll ever happen to them. Yep. Right? Maybe they just need to hear the fucking truth. And if we stop coddling them and stop telling them that it's okay to be like that, accept who you are, then they would stop. Yep. That they would realize, I got to get my ass in gear, because no one's going to listen to my fucking excuses. Yep. No one's going to give me the time of day. I'm going to have to wear, these shirts that aren't going to fit. So I better lean my ass up and stop eating so much food. Yep. I don't care what you're going through. There's never, if the excuse of it's hard is never an excuse. Something being difficult means it's worth more. Yeah. So if it's hard, that means it's worth more. So we should push you to that extent even more so.
Yep.
What are we even talking? Like, it's like, how is this even a question?
No, it blows my mind. Like, who's that one singer that
Lizzo.
Dude.
I already knew where you're going.
Bro, when I saw that, I was just like, we are encouraging. Now at this point, it's not just like, okay, I'm fat. Now it's like she's encouraging other people to be fat. I'm like, we are living in the upside down, dude. Like, everything is just insane.
Yeah, she's encouraging people to die young is what she's doing.
Because I 100%, I'm like, okay, 100% you should love yourself, never hate yourself, because that's detrimental. But do not be like, oh, I'm fat and I'm going to accept it and I love it and I'm going to encourage it. That blows my mind, dude.
Here's the thing about hating yourself. I'm going to make sure everyone listen to this right now. It's okay if you look in the mirror and hate yourself.
Yeah.
Because what you hate is the thing about yourself that you know isn't in line with who you really are. So recognize you don't hate yourself. You hate the piece of yourself that is not worthy of being there. So it's okay to look in the mirror and hate yourself because you're making yourself better. Now, the moment you take that to the fucking extreme of I hate myself, you start beating yourself up. Clearly, we know that's not right.
Yeah.
Clearly, we know that you should have every positive affirmation about who you are, because in truth, if you understand who you are, if you love who you are, if you value yourself, you will treat it differently. I will treat my Lamborghini a lot differently than I ever would a minivan. There's no question. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to tend to this a lot more valuably than this. So if you understand who you are, and everyone deep down does understand who they are. So if you hate the things about yourself, you don't hate yourself. You just know you're better than that. You would never hate yourself if you didn't know you're better. I'm better than this. That's a good thing to say. This isn't like me. That's a great thing to say, because what you're affirming is that I'm better than this. This state of being is not who I am. So let that feeling dive deep inside you to motivate you to hate the food that you're eating and to hate the laziness and to get rid of the piece of you that is not worthy of being there. And we are so caught up in this idea of let's make sure everyone feels really good about themselves. If you want to feel good about yourself, work hard and accomplish something worthwhile. Do you know it's more rare to have abs than it is to be a millionaire?
Really?
It is more rare, especially in the U.S., to have abs than it is to be a millionaire. So how rare is it if you have abs and you're a millionaire?
Yeah.
Right? And you know why it's a rare thing to have abs? Go look at a picture of 1970 when they're on the beach. No one was fat. Look at a picture now. It's a big, fat, gelatinous mass. I'm not shit. Like, it's a really big, fat, gelatinous mass sitting on the beach. And you're like, it's like half, like, holy shit. How did we do this? We already know how, right? We already know. We know. There's no question on how, right? But we have to be okay with hating that part of ourselves. And let's just get the truth. You're killing yourself. A slow, painful death. You are taking every day you accept where you are, quote unquote, accept where you are. You are taking life off of your timeline. That means every year you remain fat will take another year off your life. So you accepting it for the next 5 years is going to take life off your lifespan. It is going to do that unless you make a drastic change very quickly. You are damaging so many things about yourself that will create longevity in your life. Let's be honest then. Let's be honest about what real life and real fulfillment looks like. It looks like when you're healthy. You know, especially with this big health movement, you know, and mental health. You know what will create more mental health than anything? Physical health. Physical health will create more mental clarity than any pill, than any meditation you'll ever find. And
it's not just because of the appearance. It literally, your chemistry will change. I mean, I think, who is it that talks a lot about this? I mean, like Liver King, Wim Hof, like all the, like the Iceman guy, they talk about how, like, you literally, like, depression, they don't believe depression's real.
I don't believe depression's real.
Like, I mean, you can get depressed, but when it becomes this, like, illness, and it comes from... most of the time, it comes from you are overweight or you're not treating your body well. You're putting shit into it. You fix those things, and you will literally start feeling better.
let me actually say that then. I'm glad you brought that up. I do not believe depression is real. I believe people being diagnosed with depression and anxiety, I do not believe that is real. I believe you can feel anxiety. I feel anxiety every day.
Yeah.
I feel depression all the time. That does not mean I'm depressed.
Yeah.
It means I'm pushing through some pain and some demons, just like we all are. We're all eating a shit sandwich here on this earth. Let's get real.
Yeah.
This is not a happy and fun place, and it never will be.
No.
Like, if you just go out and look at nature, I love how we paint this picture of nature, and nature's beautiful. It is peaceful. But you know what? Have you ever really thought about nature? Nothing in nature will just die peacefully.
No.
Let's make that very clear. Nature is brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing dies peacefully in nature. It will be eaten.
Yeah.
In one of the most, like, you ever seen a bear eat an elk? Go watch it and see. Just let yourself watch and be like, oh, that's nature.
Yeah.
Right? So if you understand nature and the nature of this world and the nature of human beings, evil is here and evil will always be here. Right? So does that mean that we will always have to deal with problems? Yes. That means we will always have to experience pain and suffering because we're human beings, because it's a part of this life, and you're never going to get rid of that. So we try to get rid of it with the fucking pills, acting like that's the answer. Clearly, that's not the answer. No. And even if your doctor, and I guarantee this is going to get taken out for saying this, but I'm going to say it right now. Your doctor is not always right.
No.
Do you have any idea how many doctors I've talked to in the business where how much more money they make when they push the pills? They make money by pushing pills, and their pharmaceutical reps are working with them and trying to convince them to push this pill. It's a business. It is a business. And I'm not saying every doctor, but I'm saying look at the business of medicine, especially in the Western world. And now understand that when your doctor is prescribing you depression medication and Ritalin, and Ritalin, by the way, oh my gosh, poison, right? We just talk about all these things. I don't believe depression is something that will last with you forever. I believe it is a choice. And I know I'm going to get ripped apart for that, but I don't fucking care because it's the truth. Yeah. Depression is a choice. Yeah. You will feel depressed, but it is a choice to remain in that state of being because you can find happiness and joy in things. It's something called gratitude, something called hard work.
Get some damn sunlight,
some
dude.
Sunlight.
Seriously.
Some work ethic, some sweat, and actually like really doing something with your life. And having courage to go live your dream, that's happiness. Yep. That's how you can get out of a depressed state real quick. Now, I'm not saying you can't feel depressed, but depression is not who you are.
Very, very different
Especially when you start telling me, oh, I'm depressed, as if that's who you are.
Yep.
We start, and especially when they put a label on you of, okay, I'm diagnosing you with depression. You'll have depression your whole life. The second that person believes that sentence, especially when it comes from a doctor, every doctor who said that, you need to understand what you've just done. Yeah. You have implanted a new identity inside that human being that as a person of authority, they are going to believe you and say, my doctor said I have depression and I will always have depression because that's who I am.
Yep.
Just like, oh, well, it's just who you are. Your metabolism is a little slower. So it's okay who you are. You're fat. It's okay. Like, and we accept that. That's beautiful. Let's get rid of the bullshit. Let's just seek after the truth and understand that depression is not a state of being and who you are. It's something you feel, and it's a choice to remain there. Especially if you understood how powerful you are, how powerful your mind is, then you'd recognize this problem.
Yeah.
That the pills, that all these other things are not going to solve it. They never will.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there's a whole of a lot of evidence to say that the placebo is what fixes it a lot more than the actual pill itself. So
interesting.
Understand that when we're talking about this depression, even, I'm diagnosing you with anxiety. Do we understand how dangerous that is to tell someone that as if it's their identity for the rest of their life?
Now that doctor saying, now you have full reign and you can just be that. I give you the right to be that.
A doctor's note.
Now that's who I am. Yeah. That's who I am. It's like, fuck
and then here's what they do. And I accept me for who I am, and you should too.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not going to argue with the insane. You know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So if this is your state of being for the rest of your life, and there's no chance of convincing you otherwise, you don't think for yourself, you don't have an open thought in your entire existence to potentially see another side, this is your thought process, and you're going to stick to it and stick with your guns. No, I'm depressed. No, I'm depressed. Yeah. You're going to fight me on that. Yeah. Then I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't argue with the insane. There's no point. It's a waste of my breath.
Yep.
You clearly are convinced, and trying to change someone's mind of who's really convicted and convinced is nearly impossible. Yep. The only person who can change that is them.
Yep.
And that works bad and good.
Yeah.
Because if you're truly convicted and convinced in a good way, who am I to ever change it?
Yep.
It works the exact same. That's the power of the mind. So I'm not gonna argue with the insane and the people who want to be there.
Yep.
By the way, there are people who want to be there because they find identity in being a victim.
Yeah.
They find a lot of identity and sympathy and this excuse that gets them out of a lot of issues, which we see it happen so many times. This excuse that gets them almost this passive, like, well, hey, listen, you can't yell at me, because this.
I'm depressed.
Yeah, it's like this little card that like get out of jail free card, right?
Yeah.
And people find identity in that as if it provides value to their life, because it does. It provides ease. And if you choose the easy way, that's fine. But let me say this, don't think we're on the same level because you choose the easy route. No. You choose comfort while I choose pain. We're not the same.
Yep.
There's a reason why I'm where I'm at and you are where you're at, because I chose pain and suffering while you chose ease and comfort.
Yep.
We're not the same. Yep. So start choosing this, and then we can have a conversation, right?
Dude, have you started doing like ice baths or like cold showers yet?
You know, I did cold showers for a while. And dude, listen, and anyone who's ever played football there or any sport knows that you're icing yourself almost every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like I was in ice baths every week after every game.
Yeah.
Like I was always in ice baths. So I'm no stranger to ice baths. They're great, sort of, right? And I understand the science behind it. I actually love Wim Hof. I love what he teaches.
He's incredible.
And that is, I mean, you can't argue with what he's done and what he's discovered, right? But I think we really overemphasize these cold showers thing.
Yeah. And
to me, what I like is the idea is I've talked to some people about this where they say do something cold as opposed to just always doing a cold bath. And listen, if that works for you, it's more of a mental toughness thing than it is an actual physiology thing. Yeah. So if it's a mental toughness thing, do it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. If it's a mental toughness thing to push through those cold showers, I get it.
Yeah.
I did a cold shower this morning, because I was like kind of feeling that way, right? I just did this workout and I was feeling great, and I'm in the shower feeling good. I'm like, fuck it. And I just turn it cold.
Yep.
Right. And it's just a mental toughness, almost exercise. Right. But have I ever started doing that? I have. And that's all I see it as, is a mental toughness thing. Yeah. And listen, I maybe I should take it back, because I do agree with a lot of science of Wim Hof. So there's definitely physiology
There's definitely the science there, but I think for sure, for me at least, it is that mental toughness of being like, okay, I have control of my brain. Yeah. It's kind of like Brian Navavi with his like, how you do one thing, you do everything.
How you do some things, how you do all things.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a cold shower and I'm going to train my brain to be like, holy shit, this hurts. Yeah. But I'm going to stand here. Yeah. And I'm not going to let my body control me. Yeah. Right. I'm going to let my mind be in full control. Right. And I think that's where, at least for me, that I've really enjoyed. I've been doing it and I feel great. And then you get out of the shower and you're like, like energized.
Yeah. Oh, you're very energized.
Oh man, yeah.
You are very energized. And what I actually prefer doing is I still have a normal shower with hot water, but at the end I turn it cold.
Same.
Actually, number one, because when it's a hot shower, it still opens up your pores. So when you're putting on, the body wash, it actually cleans you better. Yeah. So it gets in your pores, and your pores are more open. So you're going to smell better. You're going to clean yourself better. So that's number one. If I have a hot shower, I'm going to do that. But then I finish it with a cold shower. Number one, because the mental thing. Number two, that actually closes your pores. Yeah.
And it's even harder. Like now you're like super hot. Yeah. And then you do super cold. Yeah. If you're just normal body temperature.
I really like the offset. Because if it's like really hot, then all of a sudden you go really cold. It's like,
yeah. Oh, it's even like, because I feel like the shower can only get so cold. Yeah. So when you do it that way, it's like,
woo, you feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, I think there's a lot of things that.
Oh, no question.
That, but well, let's move on, dude. We'll do, I think these last two are, they're maybe a little bit more simple questions, but So what somebody asked, what is your workout regimen? What are you kind of doing right now for workouts? What are you doing?
I used to work out like heavy. I mean, you see my gym in here, right? I'm actually getting rid of a lot of the equipment in here because I'm sick of lifting heavy all the time. And I love lifting heavy. I actually really enjoy it. But I'm just like, I'm looking at my body. I'm looking at how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to move.
Yep.
You know, I want to be able to enjoy life and run. You know, and actually, I'm going to give a shout out to Ross the runner because I was feeling this way, and he really took it to me out there in Texas, opened my mind with it, and it just brought me back to when I used to train like an athlete and the way I felt training like an athlete. That's what I want to adopt more again. Yep. I'm not doing footwork drills or anything like that. So basically, I used to lift heavy a lot. Because I was under the impression, I'm going to actually get this out there. I was under the impression that jogging made you lose muscle. And by jogging and, you know, running, right, that made you lose muscle. And unless it was sprints, it made you lose, you know, your athletic ability, that fast twitch muscle fibers, right? That was taught to me by a lot of my trainers growing up. So I used to jog all the time. As a matter of fact, at a point, I would go on a 13-mile run on a Saturday, you know, in high school. I jogged all the time. But then I was told, hey, you're too slow. You got to stop jogging. They're like, you're going to lose muscle. They're like, you shouldn't be lifting heavy weights and then jogging. You're basically offsetting it. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. You know,
So
I want to get big and strong and be able to run sprints and be an athlete, you know, like explosive and strong, right? Yeah. And so I was like, okay, so I stopped jogging. And I just started doing sprints, and I was doing sprints a lot, man. So I'm still running a lot, but I'm lifting heavy. I'm going for explosiveness and strength. And then all of a sudden, football's gone. And I'm not, and you know, when football's gone, man, it's one of the darkest times of my life, dude. But I'm not training sprints anymore. I'm not training my footwork, you know, as a quarterback or as a whatever position I'm in. I'm not training for agility, you know, like I'm not training that anymore. So then I just kind of stayed with, I'm going to lift heavy. Yeah. Because that's what I wanted to lift heavy, and I liked it, right? It's fun. Yeah. Going for the max rep, you know, like trying to get stronger. It's very exhilarating. But now I've really come to a point where, you know, I got fucking strong, dude. I was squatting 500 plus. You know, I tore my pec when I was benching 335 for reps, and I'm like, I'm going up. I'm going to 400, you know, bench. And I tore my pec doing it. And all these things, all these small little nicks that have happened, I'm only mid-20s. I'm still feeling these. Yeah. I really have looked at it now, completely shifted my mindset on this recently, this year, as a matter of fact, where I'm trying to train for more of a, what's the word? More of a movement and just
functional.
The functional. Yep. I still want to be strong. Yep. So I'm still going to train strength, but I'm not going to do it with machines. Yep. I'm not going to do it with a barbell, you know, and squats and deadlifts. And that's why, you know, deadlifts. Oh my gosh. I don't care what anyone says. Stay away from deadlifts. If you love it, then great. Good on you. I don't think you have. And I never forget deadlifting. And I was deadlifting a lot of fucking weight. And I felt a little tweak in my back. And I dropped. I was like, holy shit. Yep. And luckily, everything was okay. You know, just a little slip disc, but it was fine. No problem. Yep. But it opened my eyes. I'm like, wow. I had good form. Everything was fine. And just like that, right? Yep. So if you're doing these lifts like power cleans, you know, hang cleans, snatches, deadlifts, and barbell squats and barbell bench. I tore my pec in barbell bench. You shouldn't be doing those things unless you're training to be a power lifter or an Olympic lifter.
Then the risk is worth it.
Then the risk is worth it because that's your profession. That's what you're training for, right? But if you're just training to look good and feel good and be healthy, and I'm saying look good too because everyone wants to look good. Of course. Everyone wants to be strong. Yeah. You can still train and be strong and move. And that's what I've learned is I can run a mile or two, and I could train myself to run a fast mile and a fast 2 mile, you know, and still maintain my strength, still maintain some good size. And, you know, like I watch people like Nick Bear Fitness. I love his stuff, you know, and I'm like, dude, they're strong. They look great, and they can move. And I see bodybuilders, powerlifters, they can't fucking move. No. You know, I watch them like waddle when they run. I'm like, damn, I don't want to be like that.
I think our bodies are way more resilient and adaptive than we think. Oh yeah. And that science says it's like no, like because I've seen dudes that are jacked. I mean, and then they go do like full Ironmans. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so you can do both. Yes. You can have both. You can. And you should have both. Yeah.
You should. In my opinion, you should, because I believe in a training that's for a purpose, right? I like, just like I was saying before, I have a fear of, what if I'm never prepared in the moment?
Yeah.
Right? What if I can't wrestle somebody to the ground? What if I can't, physically fight, like box and actually, use my hands in an effective way, right?
Lift a car off somebody.
Yeah. Like what if I can't run after someone?
Yep.
Right? Or run away from someone even, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if I can't do that? And I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not training for 10 miles because if it's 10 miles, get in a car, get in a moped or something, if it's 1 to 2 miles and I can run faster than you in 1 to 2 miles, I'm going to escape or I'm going to catch you. Right. So 1 to 2 miles for me is a perfect limit. So my training is now I'm running and I'm training to run a faster mile, a faster 2 mile. And that's really the extent I'll go is I want to train to be able to run those effectively and fast. I want to get under a 6-minute mile, for 2 miles straight. That's a goal of mine. Right.
Sick, dude. That's
and sick. I want to maintain my strength. I want to be still, throwing up the hundreds on my bench, right? I don't want to lose that. But I will say I'm not training my legs like I used to, training more for functionality, for, endurance in my legs because I used to train those squats. And if you guys see me, I got some hefty honkers down there, right? I got some big buns, you know, and I've trained my whole life for it. So I'm not worried about size anymore. I'm just going for functionality. Training, and honestly it's a lot more like CrossFit now. Using the bags for body squats and functionality and just trying to get those movements in now.
I feel like it'd be like almost doing, if you were to do squats, doing like maybe 45 at most, and then like for reps, you know, and depth as well. Because that's one thing that I'm super grateful for is I've worked on my depth always, and so I can do a squat deep, and that's powerful because if you need to get a car off of somebody, you've got to get all the way down, and you got to use every bit of your back and legs to lift that car up, not just your back, not just halfway up. So I feel like that would be that at least for me, that's what I've been doing a lot more of that recently.
I mean, endurance strength is definitely a priority for me, right? I mean, especially because like if I think of any situation that could come up, like if shit hits the fan, I want to be prepared to protect those I care about, right? To protect myself and those I care about. And, I actually, what's his Grand Thumb?
Oh, yeah.
You know him? I love, if you're watching this, Grand, I love you.
Dude, he's awesome.
He's funny. But he said, and it's true, if you're not in shape, you're going to die.
And
he didn't say if you're fat and overweight, if you're skinny. Dude, you can be ripped and still not be in quote unquote shape.
It's true.
Dude, you can. It's possible. If you can't run and move, you're not in a safe place as a human being. You're in danger because you can't move. You can't protect others. You can't do any of those things. So that's my workout regimen. And actually, it's funny. I stopped working out first thing in the morning, and I felt so much better doing that.
You stopped working out?
First thing in the morning, my goal is to go work out, right? And I go work out, go do some workouts, but I stopped doing that. So what I do now is, because I just love this actually morning routine way better. We'll probably do a video on this. Is I wake up in the morning and I just have a drink, have a coffee, right? Just something to wake me up, right? Like, with heavy fats. So I'm talking like, milk or like half and half. And I love it. I love that taste. I believe in eating fats and dairy and carnivore. That's my diet pretty much, right? And so I have that in the morning and I work. So I get my work done first thing in the morning at 5 a.m. Been doing this and I feel great.
Really?
Yeah, I feel great. I'm there. I'm working. It's a calm, peaceful morning. And honestly, when I say work, I'm creating, and you've probably seen all these changes that have been happening and all these ideas. It's because in the morning I'm coming up with all those ideas. I'm drawing on the whiteboard, just me. I'm alone. There's no one you guys see my phone too. When I set my phone down for an hour, what happens? It is blown up, right? And I found in the mornings, early in the mornings, no one bugs me. My phone is not going off. My phone's on the table and it's not blowing up, and I'm not constantly like, all right, what's going on? And so it's like I'm now craving this morning where I get to wake up and no one bothers me, so I get to be freely just think about any situation and come up with ideas and just get some work done. And I'll do that for 2 hours. And then it's about 7:30, sun's coming up. Take the dogs out to the park like I always do. Or I take them on a walk, start to walk them more. And then I come back and I run and I lift in the garage.
Nice.
So
dude, that's a great,
So
that's awesome.
that's my morning routine and workout now.
Nice, dude.
I love it. Feel great.
No, that's awesome. And then you kind of touched on it. Just maybe you could hash on it for like 1 second. But what does your daily diet look like?
So I'm actually, so number one, intermittent fasting. I'm not eating in the mornings. I don't eat breakfast.
Yeah,
right?
I started doing that too. I feel so much.
I feel so good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't eat in the mornings because I don't need 3 meals. I know for a fact I'm used to eating bigger meals. Because as a kid, not only would I eat my meals, but my dad would be like, hey, finish your sister's food. I'm like, okay. So I'm eating my meals and their meals and potentially seconds. Yeah. I was eating a lot of food. So I got used to eting big meals and I like eating big meals. I like it. Yeah. You know, I'd much rather eat one really big, glorious meal rather than a bunch of small meals. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I prefer saving my food and saving my calories towards the end of the day. So I don't eat in the morning. I drink sparkling water in the morning and a coffee. So I guess I kind of eat because I do put half and half in there. So it's technically calories there, but I don't care. Yeah. And then I go to lunch and I try to just, I just eat meat. Yeah. You know, I try to eat meat or I try to just eat meat and cheese, whatever it is. Yep. And my diet consists of dairy and anything meat. Yep. And, you know, like I'll mix stuff in there if we go out to eat, but that is what I try to eat. Yeah. You know, and awesome. Dude, I feel great. Yeah. I couldn't feel better when I do that. When I stick to that and I'm eating meat and I'm only eating dairy, I feel amazing. Actually, fruits feel great. Yeah. Because fruits are not sugars like all the other sugar bullshit. Yeah. I've found in my stomach, this is what's crazy. By cutting out, you know, and I'm not saying I'm going to avoid the word carbs because
processed sugars.
Yes, sugars and grains. Yeah. Because our grains are not normal here. No. You can go into Europe and other places where shit's handmade and fresh out of the ground. Yep. You don't get the same kind of bloating you get here with our grains, right? The processed stuff, right? So cutting out grains in my diet and cutting out sugars is probably one of the coolest discoveries I ever made. Is I finally realized that you can feel full and not be bloated. This is one thing that really actually changed my entire perspective because every time I would eat, I feel bloated, dude. Bloated, man. My stomach, I'm poking, it's just rock solid. I feel like shit, right? And I'm eating, and I just didn't know what was happening. I knew something was wrong, and this is going on for years, right? But I just eating. I'm not trying to figure it out. Go see a doctor. They say, oh, you might have gluten intolerance, and then I cut out gluten, and I was like, okay, it's not really working because I'm just, you know, because technically rice is gluten free, right?
True. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Rice still does this to me.
Really?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I cut out grains, man.
Okay.
Wow. And I don't know why. You know, probably different. It's just the rice that's here in the packages. You know. I bet if I go rice somewhere else, it's gonna be different.
Probably.
But anyway, so I cut out grains and I cut out processed sugars, and especially when I did carnivore, I ate steaks and I ate cheese and I was eating all this food and I ate so much fucking food. I was so full. Full of like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna roll over, I'm gonna die, right? Yeah. And I was shocked because I'm that full, and I'm like, I'm not bloated.
Wow.
I was like, holy shit, like, I don't feel like overextended at all. I don't feel bloated, but I am full like I can't believe. Wow. Normally, if I'm full like I can't believe, I overeat like that. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit, you know, like and once I made that discovery, it really clicked in my mind. I'm like, you can be full and eat a lot of food and not get bloated in a very painful way. Yeah. And if anyone wants to really find out what their body is, cut out everything but meat because meat is one of the only things you can survive just on meat. Yeah. And I don't care what anyone says. All you fucking vegans, get off my show, right? Stop watching this. You know, like it's not healthy. Stop it. Yeah. You know, we're carnivores. Eat some meat, right? Eat only meat. See how good you feel, then start introducing things. Because Kinsey, my wife, is different. She likes to eat grains. She doesn't like dairy. I don't understand it. I really don't. I'm not going to try and act like I do understand it, right? But for me, it's I eat a ton of dairy. I'll drink milk. I'll have cheese. You know, I'll have yogurt. I feel great with dairy and fruits because fruits are not sugars like the other thing. Even though there's sugar in fruits, it's not like this. So different. And I do not feel bloated with that. And even though it's technically carb, I don't care because I feel great eating fruit, right? So that's kind of the consistency of my diet. And when I'm on that, I feel awesome. That's awesome. I feel awesome. Yeah.
Nice, dude. Nice. So that's a millionaire diet right there.
That's right. Eat some meat.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be end for today. That was a good one.
Dude, it's been a minute since I've talked about health stuff.
I know.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
This is what I used to talk about almost all the time.
Yeah. Well,
I never talk about this shit.
I mean, that's what the Alpha Creed is all about, is having all three of those areas now. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and, go buy some Alpha merch as well. And follow Jer, on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. He's on all of them. So until next time, brother.
That was beautiful.
That was a good one.